Welcome to Police Strategy TV. Today I've got with me Jackie Roberts, who's the Chief Constable of Dyfed Powys Police. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you very much indeed.
Jackie, what are the main challenges that your particular force is facing?
Well, I suppose like all forces with the spending review and the budget reductions, it's unprecedented in policing terms with the growth that we've had perhaps over the last 10 years, almost to be in a position where we're reversing a lot of that, where the challenges of crime and disorder, antisocial behaviour, fraud and growing kind of internet crime just isn't going away. And it's a requirement of how we can best use our resources to do more with less and become more efficient and effective whilst maintaining our performance going forward. And perhaps I should point out that I always say this and people probably hate me for it, but we are the best performing force in the country. We've got the lowest crime rate and the highest detection rate, something we're very, very proud of. And at the end of the day, it's a perch that I really don't want us to be knocked off, and I do want to still be up there leading the way, but making sure that we're giving a very good quality of service to our public, as well as dealing with the crimes, dealing with the antisocial behaviour, dealing with the problems that are a concern right across our communities, really. The added challenge that we've got in Dyfed Powys is quite clearly our geographic size. We're one of the smallest forces as far as officer numbers are concerned, and yet we're the biggest geographic area, covering 4,188 miles, no motorways. So sometimes our ability to be visible to our communities when they need us is quite a challenge for us, as is the manoeuvring of officers around the area, whether it be to meet policing needs or actually moving people for promotion, because sometimes it does mean house moves for people. So we've got to be very conscious when we're succession planning about managing all that in the mix. And of course the other big issue that we've got is the introduction of police and crime commissioners. Huge amount of work and effort going into preparing for their arrival through the transition work that's being done on top of the existing day job. It's absolutely vital that we get it as right as we can, so that when whoever is elected comes in, they hit the ground running, that we are able to continue business as usual, as it were, albeit then changing to meet the needs of what the Commissioner wants and how the Commissioner wants to hold me to account to make sure that I'm doing the best job possible for our communities.
You mentioned earlier internet crime and technology-based crime. Do you think that the police are becoming as sophisticated as the criminals in being able to respond to that, or do you feel you're lagging behind?
I think there's some elements of stuff where we're on top of our game, but quite clearly the criminal is getting ever cleverer, as they are in all areas of crime. So once we work out a way of dealing with them for one crime, they're getting as innovative. One only would wish that they would turn their criminal intelligence into actually doing a proper day job, and the country would be in a lot better place. But sadly, we have got these people out there that are preying on the vulnerable, and people that sometimes don't kind of understand when they give information that they're actually dealing with criminals on the other end of the phone or on their computers. So we do have some reasonable responses to that, but I think it is a race against time now with the growing of smart technology, social media, and the proliferation of the ways that people can now access those that might be vulnerable, that is going to create the biggest challenge for us. So it's going to be more about the demand and volume of stuff. But quite clearly, when we have got to buy new equipment and technology to come into that, with budgets being squeezed, it is a challenge for us to make sure that we're choosing the right equipment that's going to serve us well into the future, so that we are able to continue to deal with these threats that are ongoing.
In many areas of public service, technology, at least in theory, should create huge efficiencies. But it sounds as if you're saying that because technology is part of the criminal's sort of toolkit now, then actually there's a bigger cost and a different balance within policing than other parts of the public sector.
Well, there's bigger costs and there's a bureaucracy that comes with it. And of course, everything that we do is potentially disclosable. So of course the way we store data and we manage all of this starts to create additional pressures with the requirement to have the facilities to store more and more stuff all of the time. and that in itself creates a cost as well as actually dealing with the increased demand. So there's a lot of work that we're doing in Dyfed Powys now to look at, well, where is the waste? We've heard a lot in the conference today around how technology can help reduce the waste, provided that we don't transfer the inefficiencies in our paper systems onto technological systems, but we look at rewriting how we do business to make it as efficient as we can from end to end. And I think if we can start to kind of use the technology to better aid us with that, it'll reduce some of that bureaucracy, which will free up our time then to be actually doing the real nuts and bolts of the job, which is the investigation of crime and actually making people feel safe within their own communities.
Jackie, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.